So today we are checking out probably the most difficult tactic that I have had to put together in a number of years. We are looking at Kim Helberg, Hellball, Middlesbrough tactic. And if you're watching this on Patreon right now, thank you very much for your support. The reason why I'm able to do this is because of you guys, so I appreciate it. Everyone else on YouTube, if you would like to direct download and watch these videos weeks in advance, then check out the Patreon, link down in the description. We get all the tactics files, early access, my real life football manager content and podcast as well. Go check it out, link down in the description. Now, people will ask, what formation does he play? Because there's been a kind of a little bit of a wave of kind of reports about having no formation, and it has been really difficult to put together. Now, he took over his first game in charge, I believe, was the 2-1 win at Derby. So they went predominantly with a 3-4-3 and a 3-4-1-2. Most of the time with a couple of 4-2-3-1s under Edwards. Now, if you fancy a change for Football Manager, why don't you check out MFL? I'll leave a link down in the description. An online Football Manager game where you buy, you sell, you own your own real life club, play in a league. As you can see, I'm not doing very well this season. It's been a shocking season for me so far. But what I am doing this week is currently trying out a new defensive tactic. Look, I've gone 5-4-1 to try and get some points on the board. There's a whole host of team instructions for in and out of possession and a variety of different base shapes you can form to challenge other players from across the world. I will leave a link down in the description to MFL. Go check it out if you're really fancying a little bit of a change from Football Manager. But since then, they've gone from generally a 4-4-2, a 4-2-2, a 4-4-2. However, it's very difficult to kind of put a clear stamp on it. Now, I have spent this section here, the West Brom, Stoke, Preston, Norwich and Sheffield, not Sheffield United, but those 4 games I've been looking at for the series of the content. And I thought we'd actually watch some of the games. So this is the 4-0 win over Preston. And I just thought I'd show you some of the goals. So that right there is the right midfielder. If we just bring it back a touch. So Ayling here, that is the right back. Centre back, left back. We've then got Whittaker kind of playing as this kind of like false 9, deep line forward, free roll kind of player, creating a little bit of space for then Brown, who can play at centre back, right back. He's played all over. For some reason today, Helberg decided to pick him as more of an attacking player. Helberg kind of plays with an element of pragmatism, but it's positive pragmatism, where he's wanting to change the team based on the weaknesses of the opponent. He's not trying to cut out the strengths of the opponent, but more often than not, trying to find weaknesses in the team's play. He likes to build up with a 3. Once again, this is now Ayling. He's gone from being like a wide centre-back to a full-back. There is Brown, who was a winger 1 minute. Now he's kind of playing almost as a striker. There's Whittaker as well at the edge of the area. So it's really tricky. And with the kind of the influences of Fernando Diniz, with the relationism, it's super difficult to kind of fix in FM. Like, there's loads of rotations like you'd expect with positional play, but it's done very differently. Once again, Conway kind of acting like as a winger at like a wide forward at times. There's your 3 at the back. You've got your 2 midfielders. You've got a winger keeping width on one side. You've got Brown here acting almost as like a wide centre-back. Sorry, a wing-back. But what that does is it pulls this player out here. This left full-back allows that space. They've got a horrendous line, by the way. But it allows that space for Conway to attack up. And he's in. All planned, all perfected. Gets a little bit lucky with the finish, but a really good, clever goal. So with relationism, we're looking at how the team plays in terms of in possession, and it's pretty much impossible really to get right in FM. So this is kind of the setup that they had generally at Preston, with Castledine keeping his width. We said Brown, they often look like this, that we spoke about with that back 3 with Ayling. That final goal that we've shown you has come from it being Conway moving into that area, with Brown pulling out a fullback and Whittaker kind of creating a little bit of space, maybe starting high and then dropping in, see if he can pull out a defender, and then that ball was slipped in. Now, with relationism, rather than players occupying space, what they like to do is create an overload on one side. So often when the ball's on the left, you will have a whole host of players moving across. And then there's a lot of combinations. There's a lot of gives and goes and 1-2s and combinations, third man runs. So it could be like a ball into target, laid off from Whittaker into Hackney, and then played through to maybe a Brown on the other side. And they're trying to create this overload on one side so that they can find the free man on the other. Now, it also works out of possession as well, because if there's a lot of loss of possession in here, it's super easy to win the ball back when you're kind of counter-pressing because of the amount of players you've got all close together in one small area. So that's what we're trying to do. Look, it's impossible in FM, I've got to be honest, but we can still kind of build this free-flowing kind of attacking tactic with Hackney at the heart of it, some good Premier League experience in the fullback areas as well. I've been impressed with Whittaker, to be honest. First time I've kind of watched Whittaker and even Conway. They kind of link up really nicely. And Hackney, we know, is destined for bigger things. So this is the tactic that I've put together in Football Manager, kind of a variation of a 4-2-2 or 4-2-4, whatever you want to call it. It's not that important. It's what we do kind of with the roles and the team instructions that are more important. As I said, you can check out the Patreon, link down in the description to get your hands on the tactic file. Now, has it worked in FM? This is what I get, and I always do now, a one-season simulation with my team, York City. It's done pretty well. We've scored 104 goals. I always say if it gets top 3, it's a good tactic. If we win the league, it's a very good tactic. And we've won it with 108 points, my second highest point tally of FM26. So it's working extremely well in the game. As you can see, loads of goals scored, only 60 feet, 34 wins. In one of our strongest games of the season, a 5-0 smashing of Hartlepool. That's what you can see with a Helberg tactic. When it works at maxed out, absolutely batter them in terms of possession. PPDA numbers really good. Loads of shots on goal. So it's the first goal in the game. Quite a simple goal, really, but lots of build-up. What they like to do is go short and build up slow, but then when they get out an attacking area, that attacking third, they try and transition into a really quick, direct attack. Balls in the box. Plenty of crosses in. There is Ollie Pearce, who was doing the DLF, kind of the Whittaker role, getting in at the far stick. So we're looking to build up slow. Sometimes I said they build up with a 3, and this is what we'll have to change with the right back role, depending on how you see it. So we're going to build up now. Players drop in, we play out. I said they're always patient until they find the right time to attack, and then they go and we get the bodies forward, we get the numbers. Look, we can see the wide player on that left-hand side, newbie, nice and narrow. Loads of little combinations as well, which we like. Like, we've tried to make it as relationistic, is that a word? As possible, but it's just kind of impossible. What we're trying to just encourage here is lots of attacking flair. Bodies in the box, crosses in the box, players being closer together, and kind of lots of, you know, if we could see little gives and goes. So this is now Lawrence, our centre-back, striding forward. Loads of ones like that. Loads of kind of layoffs, touches, third-man runs. That's a wonderful finish, by the way. And we just can't get that. Just how the game's designed in FM, it just doesn't work. What I was seeing as well from the build-up was very De Zerbi-esque, where it was very planned, very considered. And then when you get past that initial press and you bait teams out, they then attack like De Zerbi did at Brighton with Mitoma and Solimarch and Welbeck and a number 10. It's a lovely finish, going a little bit more direct. So yeah, he's got kind of Denise principles, he's got Klopp principles out of possession, he's got De Zerbi principles, and he's kind of matching and he's kind of putting together a tactic of all those kind of concepts, which is pretty cool. So it works in FM. As I said, you can't really get it to work like proper relationism. It's kind of impossible. We've done the best with the team instructions, and I think you're free to kind of use the team instructions more and then create a tactic with that and see how you get on. You know, I said they've played 4-2-3-1s, they've played 4-3-3s, they've played 4-2-2s, they've played 4-4-2s, 4-2-4s. Whatever you want, you could still give it that kind of Kim Helberg kind of style and look to it by what you do in and out of possession. So the team shape said we've gone with this 4-4-2-4. Now we've gone ball playing goalkeeper, so we can play it from the back. Ailing like fullback. You could also do inside fullback because we build up in that 3 at times. I think if they're playing with a front 2, try and build up with a Ailing as your 3. Leave the winger on. I said at times as well there was a game against. Let me find him. Here he is. Silvera. He played on the right-hand side as a winger against West Brom. So I would kind of keep that maybe as a winger. I know the Brown role was kind of a defensive winger, kind of weaver, almost like a wing-back at times. So, you know, you could even bring that across. This is what I mean. It's like super flexible to what you want. I've just gone standard fullback. You could do Sitnara, inside fullback, whatever you want. Centre-back, I've just gone with a normal centre-back and a ball player. Left-hand side target as a wing-back. Sometimes he's in here. Sometimes they play wide winger. So it's balance, isn't it? You know you're going to get that. and you're going to get that. But if you want your winger to stay wide, then I would go inside wing back for Target, because he often pops up in these areas as well. Two number 6s or number 8s, you've got Hackney and Morris. Like, even at times, it's like that with a box-to-box midfielder alongside a box-to-box playmaker. But just to give us a little bit of balance, I've gone Morris as the DM and then the box-to-box playmaker in Hackney. Right-hand side, as I said, just to give us a little bit of width. Normally a right footer on that side as well, so keep that as a winger. On the inside, we've gone the inverted winger. We've asked to roam from position and dribble more, just so we get that maybe that little bit of connection between the box-to-box playmaker and the centre-forward. The DLF, the Whittaker role, I absolutely love the free role player. As much as it gets high, I absolutely really like it. So if you wanted to put it as a 4-2-3-1, have Whittaker as the free role. Hackney's done that at times as well, so you could probably go down that route. And then the channel forward in Conway, just someone who's going to work that line, cross the line a little bit, work the channels, out and out kind of centre forward. Now, team instructions, this is where I think it's key. So standard passing directness, because there's that mixture of short passing out from the back that we're going to recreate here in the build-up, but then can we attack quickly? So we've got higher tempo, counter-attacking. I've gone with narrower width, just so we could try and bring the players closer together. So I'm just trying to recreate anything to try and get the players a little bit closer together and connect a little bit more. If you wanted, you could do shorter passing as well. That would definitely help with that. So there's a little offset as well, a little variation if you want to see maybe more possession numbers. So I've tried to give us that really quick, direct play in kind of the attacking half. Be more expressive, yes. Let's have rotations, players moving positions. As I said, there is that positional player where players go into certain areas, but it's completely random, which makes it at times really difficult to kind of recreate in FM. Play through the press, so we can bait out that press. Goalkeeper plays short to the centre-backs. Play through the middle, because we've got the Whittaker. We like to progress and then try and spring it out wide and then get maybe a cross in. Balance for the other ones. Look, standard. Out of possession, we know it needs to be super aggressive. So I've gone with this 4-2-4 because the wingers were employed with very going man-to-man. We sometimes had a presser in here as well. So we've got Hackney. He was allowed to go in and press in the 6. The two strikers would cover the 2 centre-halves. The 2 wide players would cover the wingers. Super aggressive, out of possession, sweeper keeper, and a presser. That's all you need for that. Now, into the team instructions, because we want a little bit of chaos, a little bit Bielsa chaos, we've gone high press, higher line, not much more, but more often trigger press. I think when you're playing against the lower teams as well, expected to dominate, crank that up another one to much more. Counter pressing, yes, standard tackling, balanced. We trap outside. They often use that as they would allow the ball to go to the fullback and then they would press. So in here, the winger would kind of sit a little bit narrower, allow that play to go out, and then bosh, they would go in and stop that ball coming back into the middle, cutting using the touchline well as a defender. Really good, easy, simple pressing, trigger, and trap. No for the goal distribution. They're going to allow them to play short, so then we can then press on that, like that pass into the centre-backs, into the full-backs, and step up ball, being super aggressive. That has been one of the most difficult recreations I have done definitely in FM26 and various ones over the last few years. Probably the last time I covered a relationism tactic under Fernando Diniz. Go check out the Patreon, link down in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. This will be available on YouTube soon. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you could have watched this a few weeks earlier. Never mind. Thanks for watching.